All right, I think we are live. Been a while since I did this. Let me check it out here. Somebody give me thumbs up if we're live. All right, we must be live. I got the notification. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? I know I'm late with this. Should have done it yesterday. Had had to go to the dentist and get a root canal and an abscess taken care of. So I was in no mood or condition to do it yesterday. But I am back home and I'm gonna tell my story. However, to crazy it was. My life's been like a TV show the last week. Very, very strange. Um, so, as many of you know, I went on a trip, and we'll talk about it here. Let's wait till just a few people get in here, so I don't have to repeat myself too much. Let's just check on all the usual suspects are here. The Wheel, that's a new name. Greg Zimmer, here we go. Oh, these are all comments from yesterday, even. But at any rate, thanks everybody that came in. So I went on a little trip. It was I wasn't forced to, but I was uh I was asked to. Uh it was important. You know, I wasn't threatened to. I was asked to do something important and for a good reason. It fell to me to do it. So I did it. It was a very it was a big deal for me. I tell you what, it's this has been like a roller coaster here. So, oh, I already got a text from Fate Truck and say stop crying. Sorry about that. So I took a trip to Florida. I on Sunday afternoon I flew out of Madison, Wisconsin. Arrived in had a connecting flight in Atlanta, and final destination Jacksonville, Florida. As many of you, some of you people nailed it in the comments, assuming where I was going. Landed in Jacksonville about 12:30. Got to my hotel about 1. Got to bed about 1:30. Up at 6 o'clock for the breakfast and had some meetings with some attorneys, and we went to court. We went to federal court in Jacksonville, Florida, and it was my, I don't know, duty, responsibility, opportunity, however you might see it, to testify um, against Surge Transportation, one of their motions, and also involved in that, Triumph Business Capital. So, as you all know, they filed for bankruptcy protection. Now, first, let's back up just a second, okay? I was involved in this thing. It's very serious. Um, it's important. I'm not going to say anything to screw it up. I testified to things under oath. Uh, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm not. I'm not going to say anything to damage the case. Go too far into anything. Say anything that could get me sued. So I just ask that y'all, cut me a little break on that stuff. Respect my reasons, um, because, well, we'll get into that. I have some suspicions, and I don't want to be the guy to be the reason why other people don't get paid. And there's a lot more to say about that. We're going to get into that. Okay, so um, that's what this was all about. This was about the Surge Transportation bankruptcy case. Um, let's back up again. YouTube, partially responsible for me being asked to do this. Um, so the side I was involved in was 3 companies that joined together to challenge this injunction motion against Surge and Triumph. So they put a I don't know, motion forward, whatever you call it, to get the court to put an injunction in place so that trucking companies could not collect directly from the shippers and receivers, which is long held as our right as transportation, you know, precedent and law, whatever you call it, as part of transportation. But this is a bankruptcy hearing, so some of that can get lost, right? But somebody's got to stand up for it, right? Because we can't lose our right to collect. So I was asked to, I'm a creditor, and also I've spoken about it. Obviously, you guys have heard me talk about it on YouTube, and apparently people saw that. uh, yeah, so people on YouTube, be careful what you say. A lot of you people say things that are actionable. And I tell you what, when they come calling and you got to answer for it. Now, I didn't have to answer for anything I said. There was nothing I said that I was in trouble for. Um, I went back, I listened to it. There's nothing I said that anybody could take action against me for, and I've been reassured of that. But they know that I have some, knowledge and experience in the situation, and I'm a creditor, so I was, you know, you could say uniquely qualified to speak on it. So, three companies I got together and filed against this motion to put a stop to that, and they needed a carrier to testify on it. So that was me. Um, Now we'll talk about what happened. We already talked about why did I go, who was there, who was involved in the parties, who was noticeably there, and who was not. I want to tell you who was not there. What did I learn? Oh boy, I learned a whole bunch of things, and I need to pass them on to you. Um, we'll skip that. Come back to this part of who was there. We'll talk about the attorneys involved a little bit. So that's what happened. I kind of felt, number one, I agreed to do it because my primary reason for doing it, 95%, is I spoke legally for nobody but myself. I was there in representation of myself and my company. I have no legal authority to speak on your guys' behalf, but we all know, the other carriers are in the same position. So in a way, certainly not legally, but maybe morally, uh, testifying for other people's rights. And I made that clear in my testimony that um, I can't sit by and say nothing and let this precedent get set that we can no longer collect in that way. Now, if this is lost, that's not the end of it. Um, there's always appeals and such, but I learned a little bit about that along the way. Somebody had to testify because if nobody did, you don't have the right to appeal later. That's a legal thing. I don't know anything about that. Okay, that's just, which is, it's okay. I wasn't told that till after the fact, but I still would have done it. I was extremely nervous. I tell you what, um, you think you know what you think you know until you find out the way things really work, and it'll put the fear of God in you. you know. So everybody, from the things I witnessed and learned, and we've said this before, this is nothing new, but every once in a while you have an experience to remind you. Everybody that has their own authority, and maybe your small company, myself included, your one truck guy. I'd like to believe most people are professional in what they do and they act right. Let me assure you, this is no game. When you run into something like this, hopefully you're never the one on the bad end of it, because it will end you. Like, these people don't play. This wasn't traffic court. This wasn't bank or divorce court or small claims court. I've been to most of those. These people are different. These lawyers are different. There's a reason they get paid hundreds of dollars an hour or whatever they get paid. The I was later told after the fact that the for the sake of this video, we'll say the plaintiff was the people filing the motion, which would be, to my understanding, Triumph Business Capital and Surge Transportation. And then we'll say the defendant side. I don't know if this is the correct terms. Plaintiff, respondent, whatever. We'll say on the other side was um, Alexander Winton Associates, um, OTR Capital, it's a factoring company, and then Baxter Bailey, which is a company. They do much the same things as Alexander Winton, I don't know what the correct technical name is for them. I don't really see them as collections. Collections company, they buy your debt, and then they try to collect, and this they don't really work that way. They try to collect, and then you get a percentage, whatever. So whatever the technical name is for that. So those are the parties involved, and then the witnesses was myself and an attorney from OTR Capital testified, but I had to leave before he testified because they made me late for my flight. Um, 14 people in the room, I believe I counted, minus the judge and the court people. And I believe myself and Omar Singh, the owner of Surge Transportation, were the only ones that were not attorneys. There was two attorneys at our side of the courtroom, and the other table had four or five attorneys sitting at it, and then a bunch in the pews, whatever you call that area in a courtroom. It ain't a church, I know that. in the gallery, and I think a couple people in the gallery might have been CEOs or CFOs. So I don't know if they were attorneys, but anyway, uh, I'm completely out of place. I don't belong there. I'm out of my league. I got a nice suit on, as y'all saw, but big difference between my suit and their suits. I think their suits had a few more zeros on them. So you know, I'm out of place. Plain to see. Anybody could see that. It's very intimidating. It's extremely intimidating, especially when they start talking about you. When you hear your name come up and your company name, and you sit there and listen to it, and there's not a damn thing you can say about it. Nothing. And that's a little intimidating because you're like waiting. Oh my God, what are they going to say about me? What are they going to say about me? Um, that was my first impression. Other than the lead up was, I tell you what, man, the pressure I felt it was crushing. I went through all kinds of thoughts and emotions, and from fear to panic to, yeah, let's get him, to, like, oh, this is strange. What if this? What if that? What if I'm the sacrificial lamb? Right? What if they're throwing me to the wolves? Didn't happen, by the way. The attorneys on the, I guess, defendant side, our side, couldn't have been nicer people. Like, extremely professional, personable, yet damn were they smart. Damn are they smart, and passionate and aggressive, and just on top of it. I'm sure that comes with a hefty price tag. I have no idea what that costs. I just hope that I never have to pay it. So come to find out later, I was told by somebody else that the lawyers we had on the defendant side were, the one guy was a Princeton graduate, top transportation lawyer in the country. So I can imagine what that costs. And then the guy on the other side cross-examined me. Nobody told me till afterwards, I suppose, so I didn't get intimidated. It was the second best transportation attorney in the country, and that was told to me by the other guy. So the number one, he's like, You did pretty good. That guy's a big deal. He's a big time attorney." I'm like, "Okay." I still, you know, sweat a little bit, but that's the people involved. Now, the people not involved, the people that weren't there. Oh, first of all, thank you. And I gotta say something else. Okay, thank you to those people. And each and every one of you, I'd like you to remember who is standing up for your right to collect, because it isn't just, they all have a vested interest in collecting, right? But it's also you. Like, what they're standing up for and taking action against stands up for your rights. So remember the names. You know, people have given me heat for having Winton and Associates on, for what they charge and what this and what that. Hey, they just put, I bet you, probably more money up for that than they would probably make off of this whole scenario here. I'm guessing. Like, I heard a rumor of what that cost. I won't repeat it, but it's a lot of money. Okay, so thank you to them. Hats off to them. Give them your business, man. I'm telling you. And remember the other two names, OTR Capital and Baxter Bailey. All right, and then remember the names on the other side too. Okay, I'm not here to say anything bad about anybody on that side, maybe one of them, just maybe just a little bit, but the other two, the other party, hey, I got uh, I don't think that their position is helpful to people like me and to you guys. Okay, so who wasn't there? These organizations, man, the ones that the ones that claim they care about you, they take your money and your membership money and give you a jacket, maybe give you a magazine. They weren't there, man. Uh, did they have anything to sue about, whatever? I don't think so. But they collect this money to help you, right? Could they contribute to a legal fund? Could they show up? Could they help file a motion? I don't know. I don't know what they can do, but they claim that they do these things for you. They should have assisted somehow, in my estimation. Um, why does it fall to a guy like me? Um, and I could probably run around and say I'd done more for you this year than OIDA has. I'd never say that, but it's probably, I don't know. Is it far from the truth? This 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 situation here can't stand because it could change things going forward with your rights to get paid. So it has to be challenged. Even if you believe you could lose, you can appeal, right? So that's who wasn't there. But I want to tell you somebody else who supports you and me, because the games are over. Like the crap is over. I don't want to hear anybody's lip service anymore. Like, it's going to come down to your actions with me, and I may change some things as far as people that I talk about, on the program, for, I don't call them sponsorships, but maybe, um, what do you call it? Recommendations. There's going to be some changes there. You can't act in a way that could hurt a trucking company and then be a part of this, where we try to do the exact opposite. But let me tell you what, Monday morning, when I didn't tell anybody, as there was 5 people, I think, that knew I was going, right? So whoever's saying about calling me a clout chaser or doing it for my ego or this or that, no, I didn't tell anybody I was going. My wife knew. I think I told Snorlord, 2 of my drivers. I think I probably told Cash, and then another driver. So 6 people. 6 people knew I was going. Uh, Clout chasing is when you sit there and brag about what you're doing and say, "Hey, everybody, look at me." Uh, I didn't talk about it till it was done. Uh, Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody was looking. So I wanted to do the right thing first before anybody was looking. So Monday morning, I posted that little short video about, hey, I want to talk about this. I'll let you know what's up. Still hadn't told you what I was done. You know who the first person to immediately call me was? Rand Taylor from Fuel Ox. He's like, "Man, what the hell's going on? What?" He's like, "Is there anything you need? You want to talk about it? I've been through things like this. I've been to court, and he's telling me all the things, like, it's nothing personal. They're not mad at you. They, like, you just got to answer the questions, tell the truth, and if you want to talk about it, I'm here, brother." That meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to me. Like, he doesn't have anything to do with the payment thing, but he's like, "No, you guys deserve to get paid. You did the work. Like, if there's anything I can do to help, you just call me. Or if you just want to talk, just call me." I'm like, man, I knew we were friendly. I didn't know we were brothers like that. So, Rand Taylor from Fuel Ox, uh, thank you. And you're a part of this program forever, because you guys, you're stand-up guy. Um, and the support, I asked you guys for support and, some prayers. It wasn't just for me, it was for the situation, because this is important. People's money, the level of disrespect you guys we'll get into this, that you guys got in that courtroom was upsetting to me. Um, so I'm glad that I could be on the other side of that. Now, I said some things. I don't regret them. I don't think there's anything anybody could do to me for saying them because it was in court. I'm under oath. But I let my feelings be known a little bit about Mr. Singh from Surge Transportation, and some things that he said in the courtroom were not nice about you guys. And we're only going to talk about it just a little bit because I don't want to hurt anything. And nobody is to act in any certain way based on what I say. You do not threaten anybody. Do not call anybody. Do not hurt this situation. If somebody does something stupid, it could hurt the situation and cause a lot of people not to get paid. So let's not do that. Um, the first half hour of that's not a trial. I don't know, hearing. What do we call it? Let's call it a hearing. I don't know technically what it was. I'm not a lawyer, which I made clear several times. Um, First half hour is like banter back and forth between attorneys and the judge, setting dates and scheduling and this motion, that motion, and evidence this and evidence that. Um, so we got past that, and then it was Mr. Singh's chance to take the stand. And I believe court transcripts, public information. So I don't think, even though I'm not going to say everything, I don't think anything that I say is prohibited. I was never sworn to not talk about it. They just said, be professional. Don't hurt the situation. So Mr. Singh took the stand and testified for approximately 2 hours. His attorneys, then some other attorneys, some attorneys from back in the chairs in the cheap seats, and then the attorney from the defendant's side. One thing that he said multiple times that bothered me. Well, first they talked about the bankruptcy plan to get the company turned around, back on its feet, and headed back in the right direction. One thing he made clear is that they're angling for a buyout. They're hoping that one of the plans is to make the company attractive for somebody to buy them out. The other thing that was made clear by saying the same thing repeated times is that their bankruptcy plan is not working. And this will come back into effect from one of my statements at the end. The bankruptcy plan is not working. He said that multiple times. And also with that multiple times, the reason the bankruptcy plan is not working is because of the carriers. You guys and myself. I'll be honest, I kind of took offense to that. But the main thing that carriers are doing, now I don't know, I can't say for sure if this is or is not happening. No evidence, no documents were presented to say that this is indeed happening. Yet he was allowed to say it. So I thought, it was my understanding that in court, you provide evidence to document what you're saying. Otherwise, it's a hearsay or something like that. I'm just saying what I heard. That's anyway. Carriers are holding loads hostage. Now, if that is happening, guys, don't do that. I can't. Like, I've stood up against that before, and regardless of what I think of Surge Transportation or any brokerage, please don't do that. Don't hold loads hostages. Now they're holding it hostage for payment on that load and then previous loads. So apparently, what people are doing, allegedly, is taking loads that they are owed money, and they're taking loads in hopes of taking that load and holding it hostage and collecting on payment for that load and previous loads, which is not the way to do it. And I'll tell you a couple things. Number one, you're hurting the chances of people getting paid because they're blaming their failed plan on you guys for doing this. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're only hurting yourself and everybody else. We want people to get paid. And number two, that's highly unprofessional. Don't do that. And number three, um, they're very upset about it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the day comes, whether it's from them or somebody else, when there's legal action taking against carriers for doing this. Because he made a good case about it. If it is happening, um, if you do that in a year from now or 2 years from now, somebody slaps you with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because they lost their customer based on what you did. Don't come crying to me. Don't. Uh, most lawyers are probably gonna tell you the same thing. Like, you did that. Don't do that. That's the main thing I want to get across here is don't be doing that. It was brought up. They talked about that for a good period of time, and um, it's obviously very important. And then when testimony went on, and he said something very, I don't know, I think terrible at the end. A word he used to describe carriers or their actions. Um, I don't want to repeat it because I'm not sure if I'm remembering the right word, but it was something. It was BS, if you ask me. I think it should have been struck, but hey, um, no, it should have been allowed. You're allowed to say your opinion, but it wasn't very nice what he said about you guys and about me. And I hadn't even, I'm a carrier. Was I the one that held his loads hostage? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Um, so due to that, I don't have a very great opinion of the guy. Um, he's still drawing a great salary. That was disclosed in court. Was asked to take a concession, took the concession. It's still making a very great salary, and made the claim that no carrier is owed an amount of money that's really going to affect anybody, um, which I spoke against strongly. It does. Um, so it was my turn. I made the case that if I had a substantial salary, I would be completely out of touch with that also. And I think that might have upset somebody. So hey, that's what I said. It's what I believe. It's true. I told the truth. I told the truth in everything that I said. I gotta be honest. They did trip me up. They tripped me up. We got into freaking contracts and stuff, man. And I think I misunderstood a couple of questions because the way they ask them, I think they purposely, obviously want to trip you up. So the way they ask them, I think I misunderstood what they were saying. I think at the time I probably thought I understood, but maybe thinking back, maybe I didn't. Um, Now the way they think people think that these things work, well, I'll just go in there and I'll say this and I'll say that. You won't say a damn thing other than what you're asked. They will cut you off. I was asked a few questions and I had good answers. Before I could get the first word out of my mouth, I was stopped. For some kind of objection or another. Which, hey, they know better than me. If I should answer a question or not. So whatever. I just don't argue it. Move on, and that's what we did. Um, so that was over, and then that went on for a while. It was getting late. I'm surprised the court was open that late, but then it was my turn. First, I was questioned by I guess the defendant, whatever, respondent, whatever they are. Our side, I'll say, they're not. Make it perfectly clear, I was not represented by an attorney. Um, we just talked beforehand. He's like, "We're going to ask you some questions." What's up? We just talked beforehand. He's like, "We're going to ask you some questions." That's not him. We just talked, and he's like, "Hey, all we ask is you tell your thing and tell the truth." So that's what I did. And oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm watching. I bet you are. Um, so what was I getting at? We talked a lot about the contract, and one thing I want to. No, I learned some things from this that we already knew. But like I said, you get things reaffirmed, right? One thing I want to pass along to you guys is Bills of lading are very important. They're very important. And this was something we discussed while I was on the stand. And also, as a carrier, get your name on the bill of lading. You see all these bill of ladings. A lot of times where it says carrier, it'll say a broker's name. That's not appropriate. It should be your carrier name. Okay. Now you can't force them to change it, but when you sign a bill of lading, put your carrier name on there, right next to your signature. Get it on the bill of lading somewhere. Um, the reason for that is you're now the carrier of record on that load. That means a lot legally. It means a lot. It changes your rights. Okay. uh, Omar, the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. As long as I get paid. There you go. So get your name on the bill of lading. Okay. And let's go back to, and this is something I had been doing for a while. Okay. And I would encourage you all to contact Winton and Associates. Okay. They do this now. They're already fighting for you, right? Get a tariff sheet for your company. It's important. It's important in a time like this. We talked about my tariff sheets for, I don't know, 15 minutes. We went through a good bit of it. Somebody like Winton or another transportation place can help you construct a tariff sheet for your company. You should have one. Mine is like 4 pages long. And then keep it in your truck. Put it right in your permit book. And that's also kind of important because I'm not going to talk about the legal parts of this. If something happens with the load or with the contract, and this is something I learned from the courtroom. Okay, I'm not going to say exactly how because I don't want to misstate it and hurt somebody. Okay, if something happens with the load or with the contract, your tariff sheet is something to fall back on, and it does hold weight. Now, you need to be in a transportation court that recognizes what all of this is, right? And um, but if you don't have it, then you can't make that case. Okay, my tariff sheet lists everything from layover to uh, what we do and do not do. We don't do pallet exchange. This is the rate for this and this is the rate for that. Um, if you don't have it, you don't have it, and you just lost that um, part of your what you have to stand on. It's important. So when you are able, have somebody work with you to help you construct a tariff sheet, and have a professional do it. You don't want to wing ding it and screw it up because I tell you what, one thing that happened yesterday is picking apart contracts, or Monday I should say, is picking apart contracts, what they do say in the language and what they don't say. Um, so it's important. And yeah, well, we'll say we'll say with that. Um, and then professional. We got to start acting more professional. Now, before I'd done a couple of videos about Surge, right, and about DAT, and everybody on your YouTube, you get views, people are watching. You don't realize who's watching. I found out some people in uh, high positions saw a few of my videos and they used them. Um, we had gotten different messages from attorneys. So, but what I can say is that I'm very proud of all the people that saw those videos in the position, the powerful positions that they're in. Nobody's had anything bad to say to me. Like you're a piece of crap for what you did or what you said. Uh, it's kind of the opposite. It's like you made a very good case without saying dumb things or saying anything bad about anybody or trashing anybody. So kind of proud of that. I'm trying to plug my phone in here. Bear with me a second. The battery's going dead. Um, But this whole experience gave me a new appreciation for and a reminder for you got to know who's on your side and who was not. And this helped make that very clear to me. And I need to press harder to find that out ahead of time beforehand because you find out who people really are uh, and what they're out for. Now, as far as the whole case thing, I feel like we can't lose our right to collect as carriers from the shipper and receiver. That goes way back to along with the tariffs to the ICC days. This goes way back. It's on your standard bill of lading. If you read the fine print, there's a contract between the the carrier and the shipper, a direct relationship between the two. And a broker's place, we talked about it in court. A broker's place is a middleman. It's merely to arrange for the logistics of the shipment, and that's it. And that's it. And to process payment, but and not necessarily to pay or whatever the contract says. So I'm I don't know. I'm feeling better about it. You know, I had a lot of thoughts on it on my way home. Like, damn, I screwed this up. I should have said this. I should have said that. Man, I jumped into the freaking meat grinder. Uh, I had no idea what this was going to be like. Um, I'm glad I did it. Looking back, I'd do it again. I don't know if anybody would ever ask me to do it again or suggest I do it again. But lawyers aren't all bad. They have a bad reputation. And I'll be honest, even the people that cross-examined me, they were courteous. You know, they weren't abusive. You can tell they by the tone of their voice they were assertive and pressing. But none of them were there to make me cry or to make me break down. Yeah, they're probably there to trip me up, but it's not about it's not me that they're after, right? It's the principle. They want to prove me wrong, right? There's none of that. Oh, you did this in third grade, so you're not a credible witness. There's none of that. It's all about the facts, and you know, the principle is they're not there to see if I'm right or wrong. They're trying to prove their side to the judge. So it's not personal, um, and they all try to make small talk, in the breaks or whatever. I have no interest in doing that. I got my own problems, right? So, um, yeah, that was it was quite an experience. I'll think of some more things here. Let me check on some comments here. Cash is King Trucking. I structure my business to tip the host. You broke back scallywags. Well, thank you very much, Cash is King, for the super chat. Let's. I'm gonna try to answer some questions here. Like I said, give me a little slack if I don't probably give you everything you want. Um, where do we got here? John Calvo, DAT should be held accountable. A lot of people saw that video too. I think that well, I see they finally lowered the credit rating on surge transportation. It's like a 30 something, 34, 35. So too bad it took that long for that to happen. Um, I got a lot of comments on that video that said it's safe to do business with them now because the court is going to handle their payments, which is I'm no lawyer. I don't I that's the way I understand it too. But, I said you don't know that going forward this gets any better. It could get worse, And then what do you got? If the money's not there, the money's not there. Two things that were said on Monday is that their margins are strong. They have good margins, which a lot of you probably figure and assume. And it was said multiple times that the plan is not working. So you take whatever you want from that to make your decision if you should do business with any company that says that. And that's not just a statement, that's an under oath statement. So um, That's not a misquote. If you pulled the transcripts, you would see that statement made several times. So, um, and apparently it's because of carriers that the plan is not working. So that's also on record. Grade 8 transportation. Good evening, DIY and chat. What kind of birds don't fly? I don't know. I don't know. Um, Paul Harris is in Maine, having dinner in Maine. So, what were kind of some of the speculations as to what I was up to? I'm sure there was probably some good stories. John Calvo says DAT is still posting loads from brokers that are getting their bond canceled. Mm, that's not right either. See, I'm not really looking to be part of any lawsuits here. You understand? We just want information out. Now, I like to. I will argue for what's right, but I'm not trying to be no sacrificial lamb here, folks. Like, my plane ticket was paid and my hotel was paid. I incurred some expenses along the way here in this thing, uh, which the higher end breakfast was $26 in the freaking hotel, for crying out loud. Taxi rides and stuff. But I'm not trying to be anybody's cause here to go getting involved in a bunch of lawsuits. Um, I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think DAT should be doing that. I think they should be looking into that further. Um, but I'm not looking to go challenge up to DAT. I think that doesn't. See, here's the thing. I don't think it needs to come to that. I think we all, make our opinions known about these things and vote with your dollars. Vote with your dollars, and make it clear to them, like, hey, man, I'm your customer. I'm your customer. Why don't you just do the right thing and make me insanely happy? And it don't need to go to court. It don't need to come to a boycott. Now, I want to talk. Speaking of that, let's back up for a minute. In trucking, it's a weird bunch of people, right? It's a weird thing. Every time something doesn't go right, what do we want to do? We want to do a convoy. We want to do a boycott. We want to do this. We want to do that. Has any of that ever worked? Let's be honest. Maybe back in the day, like in the 70s or 80s, when maybe we had regulation, a shutdown or something, or a strike would work. Those things don't work. We don't even be doing that. Um, this is what works. And guess what? It took one person. It took one person, and that was me. And I'd like to believe that what I did on Monday had more effect than any of these freaking convoys. Imagine if a whole bunch of people did something like that. Just get involved, right? Not surround the courtroom and protest. No, no, no. Just that's where it matters is there, right? Now, did we win? Are we gonna win? I don't know. They had to bounce me out of there quick, man. I almost missed my flight. I ran, drenched in sweat in the freaking Atlanta airport. The people sat next to me were probably horrified, but I could not miss my plane. I had something I had to be back for. And then TSA ganked me out of line, took my bags, didn't like my backpack, and was going to rescan it. And then, instead of just put it through the scanner, we'll put it off to the side for 10 minutes and make this guy even almost miss his flight. I run up like freaking OJ in the commercial. Uh, Last two people going through the door, but they let me through. Man, I tell you what. Um, so I had to bounce before the last person testified. I don't know how that went. We'll find out. They said they'd just let me know in a few days, and it's not over by any means. I'm sure if it doesn't go their way, there's an appeals process, something. Like, nothing's ever really over till it's over. Know what I mean? Um, let me down. We got a couple more super chats. I appreciate it. Stat Trucking, thank you. $10 super chat. Grateful it was you that was asked to go. Couldn't think of a better alternative. Thank you for showing up on our behalf. Well, I ain't gonna stretch it. Legally, I was there on my behalf. Okay, but my behalf affects your behalf. So, however you want to word that, but I I don't want to misrepresent anything. I don't want to say, uh, no, I'm not going to say that. That's Dude, there's so much I could say. Um, maybe someday. Maybe someday when this is over. Epic Trucking fails. I got nude pics with my membership. Oh, dang it, boy. Cash is king. Member for 25 months. I need to move up my membership level. Well, I appreciate it. Fate Trucking. Become a member. Thank you. Member for 25 months. Man, I appreciate that. JH, $20 super chat just because. Well, I appreciate that. Gary Bates, $2 super chat. I got $2. Oh, man, I'd like to be the one to take that from you. I appreciate it. Man, you guys are too kind. Cassius King says you're a trucking hero. Apparently, everyone is boycotting super chats. Hey, I understand the market stuff. Fate Trucking, $10 for the chiropractor adjustment for patting yourself on the back. I appreciate it. I may have dislocated this shoulder. Uh, it is what it is. WCF Invader member for 24 months. Thank you. I gave Snorlord a good laugh. Took your hints, rewatched your live several times. Thought you were getting a capital influx into your carrier. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, and in regards to that, you guys that emailed me about the position, owner operator position or lease purchase. Hey, that was just before I left. I had to bounce. I saved all your emails as unread. I will get back to you. I asked you all to wait till Wednesday. I didn't get it done today. I'm going to try in the next couple of days. I was just fighting all day to get caught up here in the office. So I appreciate your patience, and I will get to that. I know I haven't even read any of them. I don't know what they are. Um, Let me go. Okay, get back into where I left off in the chats. Uh, okay, DAT is still posting loads from brokers that are getting their bond canceled. Yeah, that's no good. We can't have that. 100 people in here. Congratulations. Well, I appreciate every one of them. Did you structure your business to include federal court? Uh, Interestingly enough, I was asked if I consider these types of things in my business plan when pricing a load. Do I plan for that? Can't remember if I was asked that pre-trial or during the trial. Can't remember. Let me just disregard that. And I can't remember when I was asked. Somebody else might have asked me that. CDN, good day. Looking forward to this insight. Awesome, you were chosen. Um, I could have said no. Nobody made me. Honestly, I thought it would be a good experience, and I still think it would be. If I had to do it again, would I still be nervous? Yes, but not to the point I was now, or I just was, because I kind of know how it's going to go. I know it's not them looking to, find something wrong in my past, right? We all watch too much TV, too much movies. It's not like that. It's much scarier. I'll be honest with you. It's much scarier, especially at that level. Like my suit, y'all saw the picture of my suit. My suit was like $500, 10, 8 years ago, right? And like you can see, oh, I think that guy's wearing silk, or I don't know what that is, but that's pretty shiny. That looks expensive. Uh, I'm pretty sure they all got tailors. I would imagine. Gary says basically you will still not be paid. We will see. We will see. It's not over. It's not over, as far as I know. Brian Garceau, your place as an ambassador for trucking is intact. Uh oh. Am I the? Do I need to? Is it a channel name change to trucking ambassador in order, or as Cash says, trucker's hero? Did I get to the beach? I did not. I had 0 minutes to spare. Like I said, I almost missed my flight directly from the courthouse. So they took my stuff. I wasn't even allowed to bring it to me with me to the courthouse. Not even leave it in the parking lot. I had to leave my bags, my phones, my tablet, everything. I could bring my wallet and some money. And they checked me when I got there, and then the rest had to stay back at the hotel. So we had to go back to the hotel and then hightail it to the airport to make my flight. So the attorneys could have their phones, but nobody else could have a phone. I wanted to do like my intent was afterwards to do like a video from the steps, and say, "Oh, this is where I was," and blah blah blah. But it wasn't going to happen. Pretty sure somebody would have cuffed me and stuffed me. Gary Bates, thank you for your service. I'm not military. Cheap freight haul, the most important live of the year, and I am late. Oh my goodness. AKAK, thank you, sir, and keep cheering for us. Will do. What case are you referring to? The Surge Transportation bankruptcy case. I was called to testify as a carrier creditor, I guess you would say. Gary, you still seem scared. They must have smeared you real good. No, I mean, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about your responsibilities. Here's the thing about trucking, and you guys have all seen this on YouTube and in various ways or another, that people will say something and then in chat, well, I would have done this, I would have done that, or you can do this, you can do that, or it's your right to this, it's your right to that. Back the truck up a second and be aware first of your responsibilities. Your responsibilities are enormous. And something like this helps you regain sight of what your responsibilities are. So we're going to make a few changes. One of them will be I'm going to ask the drivers that anytime they ever sign any bill of lading, they put the carrier name on there next to their signature. Everybody's, they teach you to put shipper load and count on there, whatever. Your carrier name needs to be on that bill of lading, even if you write it on there. Okay. That means that they gave the load to you. You're the carrier of record. It's very important. So everybody start doing that. James, he's a marked man now. I hope not. I hope not. Sterling says my suits all have zeros in them. Jamie, thank you, Adam. Well, thank you. I do appreciate the support. Part of the reason I didn't say nothing ahead of time is I didn't want any drama around this. Anybody, man, people don't act right sometimes. You don't want somebody acting up and calling somebody and saying something stupid, right? Or interfering. There's no place for that. Mikey Nine Toes, my brother's a big wig lawyer, charges $1,500 an hour. Wow. Where's he from? Maybe he was the guy. These guys I met with were out of Philly. And whatever. They're very professional. Anytime they wanted to say something to somebody, they would say, hey, you got to go over there. This is attorney-client stuff. You can't hear this. I ain't talking about this in front of you. Go down the hallway or something. Very professional. And I always said, hey, we can't tell you what to say. All we can tell you is tell the truth. You have to tell the truth. And if you don't know something, that's okay. Just say, I don't know. And a few times I did. Tolga says, I was waiting for the stream. I hope that everything went well, Adam. It went better than I expected. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. You have this made up in your mind that there's a TV moment, right? Like you win and the courtroom goes crazy. No, that's that's TV. Fate Truckin says, and that's why I'm better than you. There you go. Six Semper Tyrannis, nothing good ever comes out of a courtroom. I don't know. Maybe. Sterling says, OIDA is a dry fart. Oof, man. Glad they're not a wet one. Insult Investor finally caught you live again. Well, thank you. Recap, Truman. You'll have to go back and watch from the beginning. The price of change is sometimes high. It is. But this holding a load hostage thing, brokers are going to get tired of that, man. For now, what do? They try to fine you, whatever. They gotta satisfy you to get that load delivered. They'll put a freight guard on you. Someday, I don't know who's going to be the first one to get made an example of, but someday, somehow, some way, somebody will. So don't do it. Don't do it. Now, there is, legal provisions for certain things. If you feel somehow, some way that you are thinking about doing something like that, call an attorney first. Say, hey, what are my rights here? Get the services of a professional, man. We're not that truck stop attorney thing, man. It's going to get you in trouble every single time. All right, I'm trying to get some comments in here. You guys are giving fate heck here. Kenworth versus Peterbilt. Glad to see you free. Yeah, I wanted to tease a little bit and make it up I might be going to jail or something. We gotta stir up the drama, right? Clickbait. No video worth watching doesn't get clickbaited. Um, Insult investor. What happens if you say no? I do not. When they ask you if you swear to God, LOL. You have some explaining to do. They don't. One thing they don't have in court is a sense of humor. So I'm not going to be that guy. Not going to be that guy. G Walker says deposition. No, I was on the stand. I was on the stand. Uh, Hearing at what level for what? Federal district court for bankruptcy hearing is uh, is what it was. I cannot imagine working for a foreigner in my own country. I don't know where Mr. Singh was born. I have no knowledge of his past or present. All I really know about the man is, I watched him on Freight Waves. I think it was maybe around January this year, earlier this year, and I was seemed a little suspect then. And then what I saw in court the other day, and my personal opinion isn't all that favorable. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that love him. God bless him, and wish him all the luck in the world. Gary says, maybe this is a lesson I had to realize. You cannot fix everything yourself. I feel bad when I cannot fix a wrong. Feel good, buddy, about your representation for the poor. Um, I feel okay about it. The more time that passes, I feel better about it. I was pretty down about it at first. I'm like, man, I screwed this up and nobody's going to get paid. The pressure was huge, and the attorneys are like, man, no, you did good. He's like, your first time in a court like this, and I tell you what, that attorney that questioned you was a big time attorney, and you did pretty darn well. That made me feel a lot better coming from them. Uh, is everything perfect? No. I'm they knew when they got me that I am who I am. I know what I know. I don't know what I don't know, and I'm not a lawyer. Um, Never had any training or coaching to do something like that. So what they got was just me, and I hope it was good enough. If it wasn't, there's nothing I can do about that. Um, Please DIY. They're using that as an excuse. They don't intend to pay. See, that's the kind of thing I don't want to say. Um, if it's true or not, like I'm not the right one to say that. I'm involved in this, at whatever minor level. Um, I don't know what's in somebody's head. I have no idea. So maybe not. We'll find out, right? John says you can't tell me that a company is tens of millions of dollars in debt because drivers are holding loads hostage. I mean, I would tend to agree. I know I didn't do it. I know I had nothing to do with that. I really wanted to say that. I was hoping that somebody would ask me, Adam, have you ever held a load hostage for these people? I really want to say no. That ain't me. I didn't do that because I don't want them to think that I was. But it was never asked. But I would tend to agree. No real documentation was offered, so I have no idea what the truth is on that, and it's not up to me to determine that. Timothy says S&I had a load held hostage by a tow company in New Jersey over an unpaid tow bill. See, I think they're entitled to mechanics liens, aren't they? There is a similar lien in transportation. I don't know the terms of it. Um, it did come up, but I'm not a professional to speak on that. If you do the job, you should get paid. I agree, and I did make that point. I want to get paid, and the amount I'm owed, you know, I was asked, is it enough to make me go out of business? My answer was no, but that's not how I measure it. It hurts. It's enough to cause me hardship. I have people to pay, fuel, tires, trucks, trailers, insurance. Besides not getting paid, I incurred the expenses. So it is a hardship. But I don't make an immense salary every year, so I feel that pain. Uh, Thanks again, Omar, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Hard to calculate the mass psychological damage caused by being mistreated by someone. Uh, yeah, I don't read that. I don't know what it means. Problem is that our side was on the defensive. See, I don't know that the right term for that. I shouldn't like. These are the people that filed the motion. These were the people that are against the motion. For lack of a better term, that's all how I understand it. Um, if we would have initiated the action, the outcome would be different. Maybe you got see something, you know, too. There's different kinds of courts, right? We forget that. Do we expect a judge in one court to know the laws and regulations of a totally different kind of court? I don't know. I don't know. So I guess to put everything in one basket there and say this guy's got to decide it all, is that the right way to do it? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be a, a judge like that either. I mean, you got to be one sharp cookie. You got to be one sharp cookie. Um, oh, George Wilson almost forgot just tuning in. Jeepers. Barry says you're intelligent and had studied the issues. They didn't want you sharing all the wisdom. Um, I don't know. Like I said, I was stopped from answering a couple questions, and that's fine with me because at a certain point you may not realize it, but you might be sharing opinion rather than fact. So like they'll ask you, did you believe such and such? Well, they'll say, oh, that's caused for legal conclusion. I can't make a legal conclusion. I'm not an attorney, so some of that went down. Mikey Nine Toes, what is a tariff sheet? Let me see. Do I have mine handy? No, it's at the other desk there. It basically lays out your terms and conditions for your trucking company. Um, Procedures, charges, terms, etc. And so if something happens where there's a conflict or whatever, and contracts are determined to be broken or void or whatever, you revert back to your tariff sheet for your company. Um, you should have that. Gary says, OIDA is where I was told about a tariff. Okay, did they help you get one? Set one up? Cassius King, thanks again for the super chat. Um, John says a tariff sheet is useless if it is not agreed upon by the broker in the rate con. That is not true. That is not true. A lot of brokers will refuse to put their initials on anything added to the rate con. We went through that. That is not true. Is it the standard? Is it the uniform bill of lading or the standard uniform bill of lading? One of the bills of lading, or both of them. Can't remember the exact language of both of them. They institute. They implement your tariffs. If you read bill of lading prevails, okay, it's in the terms on your bill of lading between the carrier and the shipper. So it's a long story. Once again, that's something a conversation best had with an attorney on that. But that is not actually accurate. That is what they tell us because that's what they want us to believe. So look into that. I would encourage you to look into that further. And somebody like an Alexander Winton or an attorney or somebody like that could explain that to you. They explain it to you far better than they have attorneys. So, uh, could you attach the tariff sheet to the carrier packet? You could. It might scare the broker off a little bit. Um, I'm sure at the least they wouldn't acknowledge it, but it might scare them off. But they don't necessarily. It's the tariff sheet has nothing to do with the broker. The tariff sheet is between you and the shipper. Okay, in my instance, this is in the instance that I'm in right now, and that's clear in the bill of lading. Okay. Alex Foley in the house, just tuning in. Is there going to be a replay? There's always a replay. We leave these up. Showing my support for DIY. Thank you. Did DAT still posting loads for them come up at all? No, I was prepared to talk about that, but I was not asked. And you cannot answer what is not asked. I had it in my notes that I was making. Uh, John says the broker has to acknowledge and agree to the tariff sheet. They don't. They don't, because your tariff agreement is not with the broker; it's with the shipper. And this is something we covered. So that's why I'm saying that. I'm not being confrontational, argumentational, or argumentative with you. This is something we actually covered. You have to understand contracts to understand what the broker is doing. That's, like I said, having your own authority and stuff. It's no game. That's part of what you need to do. Is you need to read the contracts, and if you don't understand them, you need to get yourself some help in understanding that. That's something we have to be better at in the industry. Don't fault the spelling. Okay. What was the whole premise of the hearing? What was the impetus? See, there you go, using big words. A dummy like me doesn't understand. A whole promise is that was to get an injunction against carriers and people, factoring companies, whatever, from trying to collect directly from the shippers. Lock them all up. Ooh, prisons would be crowded, my friend. Nobody can be perfect in momentary situations. Yeah, that is absolutely true. The only way to fix the system is shysterism, is demand payment up front. That's not. It's I can't disagree, but it's just not going to happen. It's just not. And they say, "Oh, we all need to get together." We never will get together. We never have gotten together. We never will get together. And I don't want to get together with people. They're largely people I don't agree with. It's the truth. It's sad to say. Snorlord, okay, I'm here. You may now begin. Thank you, sir. Thanks for keeping my secret, Snorlord OG. Appreciate it. Ooh, I dimed him out under oath, he says. Cash is king, Fate Truck, and thank you for being members. Appreciate it. Wallace says, you're a very humble man. I'm proud of you for yourself in this. Much respect. I try to be, but it's hard when you're the trucker's hero. Yeah, come on. No, it wasn't. It was hard to sit on a chuckle. Damn it! I just screwed up the joke. It was hard to sit in the witness stand, and when the lawyer walked up, not say, "Come on, wait a chucklehead." Yeah, I had to fight that urge every time. I can give you a name right now. Let's not do any names. Thought it was for deletion, maybe. Dude got 2 years and $250,000 fine. Federal, thought as a consultant, maybe. Ooh, damn. No, we don't delete trucks. We have no deleted trucks, and largely for that reason. I ain't going to jail for it. Hell no. I wouldn't do well in prison. They only have 35 credit, and people are still do business with them. Yeah, I mean, you gotta consider all the factors in there and decide if that's what you want to do. I've decided that's not what I want to do, so I'm not going to do that. You do what you want to do, and take all factors into consideration. I thought maybe you're going to talk about some of these scam brokers and how they need to shut them down. That's a given. That's a given. That's a different We have talked about that. We have. Thanks again, Gary, for the super chat. Hire a lobbyist to change laws. Yeah, that's who it takes. For a whole lot of money. That is what us into CDL credentials. Okay. Appreciate the super chats again. Cash is king and Fate Trucking. SSD DIY might not be the hero we want, but he's the hero we need. You don't need me. Trust me. You don't need me. I'm raising my fees after this. I'll tell you right now. I'm now upwards of $3.50 an hour. JD Jeff DIY is the new Turk 182. What's a Turk 182? I don't know what that is. Wallace Obert, those got LBJ to CDL. All truck drivers does not work at all. I'm having trouble following you there, buddy. Trey Lincoln in the house. Thanks for coming in. Ronald Slisky, DIY is the new face for the modern day conflicts in trucking. OIDA and others are historic opportunities. Well, let's talk about that. It's not me. I'm not the guy, but social media. And social media is being so misused that it's so much, it's powerful to do so many things. And what do we do it for? In trucking on Facebook, we create Facebook groups to just trash people and talk a lot of smack about them and organize boycotts and all these things that don't work. We could be using the social media, the power of social media to do things like this, man. It's so much more effective than a boycott's never going to work because number one, no, not everybody's going to go along with it, and not everybody agrees with it. But I think everybody can agree that we deserve to get paid, and we need to fight to preserve our right to get paid. So be involved in things like this. It, one guy just did it. I mean, I didn't do anything, you know, made a difference. Probably, I don't know. Maybe it did. Yeah, I'll never know. But everybody can do that. Social media is so powerful, and we're just dropping the ball on it. It just really is. How in the world did we get to carrier that has to wait 60 days for money? Never was like that in the old days. It's true. It's getting a guy's got to you got to follow up on your money, man. You got to be on top of it. And credit check, credit check, credit check. Call references, whatever. Shannon says, "Thank you, DIY." Well, thank you, Shannon. I asked you in your live stream for some support and some courage, and I needed every bit of it. Thank you. Uh, so much will depend on how tough the BK trustee is on Singh. Yeah, and there was no indications of any of that. This was specifically about that issue, and me testifying to try to preserve our right to collect. That's all that this issue was about. I imagine there will be more issues, and hey, we'll take them as they come, right? Maybe somebody else, maybe one of you guys will be called on to participate. I don't know. George Russell says, "Thank you." Well, thank you, sir. Gary Bates, I drove 8 miles for these super chats. Thank you, Gary. That's 50 cents a mile, isn't it? Yeah, man. Are you working for 50 cents a mile as an owner operator? Driving with John, thank you for a super chat. There's a channel that's blowing up. My goodness. You're fighting for the small guys, and that's rare. It ain't much of a fight. It's just participating. That's my level is just participation. The other guys and the guys with the expensive suits and the money, they're the ones fighting. Glad. Oh, thank you, Tito's and Soda. Super chat. Glad you're back, dude. I'm glad to be back, man. In addition to just the stress and the pressure, the travel schedule was murder on me. Very not a lot of sleep. The company might be feigning possibility of a buyout, and so they might handle Singh with kid gloves. Yeah, I don't want to comment on any of that. I don't think whether I agree or disagree. I don't think it's appropriate that I speculate on that. That's something that's better handled in court. How much does the CEO of Surge Transportation make? Well, it is a matter of public record. Um, let's say it's a good chunk of ching. It's it's more than probably most of you gross in a year in gross revenue as an owner operator. So somebody can pull the records on that. Pull the transcripts. Folks don't realize what can happen worst case scenario until you see what can happen worst case scenario. Yeah, I can honestly say I don't ever want to be on the other side of these things, and take steps not to be. I think everybody here understands we don't hold loads hostages. We don't do stuff like that. We're going to fight to get things made right, to be made whole and as best we can. But we're not going to do that. Uh, yeah, southbound pachyderm. That never happened. So yeah, that I I don't know where people are coming up with that. Robbie Hanson, were you able to pass out any of my business cards? I wrote it on the bathroom wall that there was a good RV for sale, and people could call you if they were interested. Mikey Nine Toes, he lives and works in Chicago. Okay, the attorney, 1,500 an hour. I might need to go back to law school. No, absolutely not. Absolutely, I'm not sharp. Those guys, man, I tell you what, they are sharp. They are freaking good. Trucking coach said, I would have walked right up in that courtroom, wet my lips with some sweet tea, and told him I quit under oath. Jeez. Oh, you crack me up. Paul Harris says, this may sound geeky, but I have a rubber stamp with my name, company name, SCAT code, and DOT number. I'm just a company driver. I think this is important, like you say. Hey, that's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. Does it go through, like if you got carbon copies? Will it go all the way through? Paul, thank you. That's a fantastic idea. I'm going to consult with somebody and see and ask him if a stamp would cut it. Yeah, that's what I'm. Thank you, Paul. That's a great. I could just get a stamp made and hand one out to each driver. Thank you. Why not? See, you guys are smart. Here, I'm looking to get like I'm gonna hand them all a chisel and stone tablet and tell them to chisel it out every time. And then you bring me into the modern era. Jagger says, "Who is Adam? Your name is DIY." Okay, all right, that's my new name. That's my real name, DIY. I also have a rubber stamp that states seal is intact on delivery if not noted otherwise. Ooh, Paul's on top of it. Paul's what we call a good boy. See, Paul, maybe Paul ought to be starting a consulting business. That's a law. Carriers always had to be on bill of lading. It still is, but people are now putting brokers' names on bill of lading, which is incorrect. It is incorrect. Wheelburner says also, God bless him. Well, thank you, Wheelburner. I'll pass that along. I'm sure he appreciates it. Not gonna read the rest of that. Skinny Peter says, "Can I get you to testify on my behalf?" Skinny Peters, yours is a different kind of court case I want nothing to do with. They're gonna love you in prison. God bless you. Good luck with your life. Billy Big says Singh is wrong. The court will decide. The court will decide. It is certainly not up to me to decide. I'm you know I'm entitled to my opinion, and it's just that. It's just my opinion. Paul Harris says I just received an email that an attorney wants to take my deposition in an accident. They were the one that rear-ended my trailer, and they are suing me. Ooh, man, get yourself a good lawyer, the best you can afford, because they're fixing to come after you. Where and when does a tariff sheet need to be presented? I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get somebody to come on a live stream and talk about tariff sheets. Okay. I'm not the guy to be, I understand how I handle mine. Maybe I'll find out that I'm not doing it right. So we're going to get somebody to come on and talk about tariff sheets. I've already spoken to them about it. They'd love to do it. They're very busy right now, and just give them some time, and hopefully we can make that happen. Iron Sharp bill of lading is a contract. Absolutely, absolutely. Learn additional things, about bills of lading over the last week or so that I wasn't fully aware of. So that's pretty cool. Steve Wildman with both feet, both in the house. Thank you. Justin Axford, thank you for super chat. Thank you. Good info. Thanks for watching. Das Kunoff with super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your participation. Yeah, and I really mean that. You guys gave a lot of support. That was important. You didn't even know what you were supporting. You trusted me enough to give me your support, and I do appreciate it. Joel Rodriguez, thanks to social media, I can identify as an Apache helicopter now. Damn it, boy. Damn it. Scott says, how y'all stepped in. You're what's needed in the industry. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But everybody can be that. Just it's where you put your energy. A lot of nonsense goes on YouTube here, especially in the trucking genre. And with my, so I did that little video from Jacksonville about, it's called to answer for something I said on YouTube, which in a roundabout way it's kind of true. It's clickbait. We all do it. But what I was thinking people were going to be thinking, because eventually it's going to happen. You timestamp this, right now, because someday some YouTuber is going to be called to court for videoing while driving or live streaming while driving. Who's going to be the first one to answer for that? You don't want to be that example, man. You don't want to go to court like that. I'm telling you, it seems like it's not going to happen. It don't matter. Somebody could hit you. Paul Harris, if you were live streaming while that guy rear-ended you, you know that's going to come up, and they're going to make something out of it, even if it isn't your fault. And by gosh, if it is, how many different kinds of negligence are there that they can charge you with? We ain't going to be that guy. None of my people better be that guy, because they go right up the chain. Mike Nine Toes, that would be awesome if you can do that. We're going to do it. What did I learn about bills of lading? I don't want to answer that, because I testified on that. So I want to let it stand at that I know what I know. It doesn't matter if I learned it 10 years ago or 10 weeks ago. I know what I know. And what I don't know, I didn't say that I knew. So, we'll touch on that too, along with the tariffs. Being a creditor isn't going to change anything. Yes, it does. You know what it changes? It gives me the right to testify. That's what it changes. If I wasn't a creditor, I couldn't testify. So it does change something. Damn it, I might not have done a good job, but damn it, I did something. Okay? So let's leave it at that. Calvin Leakin here. Thanks for coming in, buddy. What's going on, man? And you're going to have to come back and watch from the beginning. We were talking all about you. At the 1 hour mark, mostly we were talking about you. Now you got to go back and watch it for an hour to see what we were saying. Oi there, Kelvin. Wheelburner says, this is fantastic information. Well, thank you. Hey, it's only the things that I understand. It's only the things that I understand. And I think anything that I did say is in the transcripts, and I don't believe I misrepresented anything. Um, so that's what I did. Now I got home. I got home Tuesday about midnight, and then first thing Tuesday morning, I had to go in for a root canal and get an abscess fixed, and that was no good. That was no bueno. Got to get that thing pulled out. And so yesterday I was a little loopy. Didn't want to do a live stream and talk about any of this while I was a little loopy. So that's why we're doing it today. But finally getting caught up here in the office. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. Got caught up on my invoicing today from being gone. Everything else is a work in progress. So it's gonna be rough the next couple of days. I will get back to the people that emailed me one at a time. Let's see how many emails I got. I got like 11 emails while I was gone. Oh, Philip Martin, thank you so much. That was very kind of you to send me a cash app. Very very much thank you. It's I kind of got a little bit of the bug from doing this. Uh, it kind of feels good to be a part of it or make any kind of a difference, even if it was very little to no difference. I imagine that's probably how OIDA felt when they first started. Is feels good to help people. Um, maybe someday, 10 years from now, I'll be like, you know what, feels great to take people's money, and then I can just retire and make off with your money, and you guys can come after me, chase me all the way to the Cayman Islands. Come on, no, I'm just kidding. Paul said that company had a camera system forward and driver facing cameras. Ooh, was it a trucking company that hit you or a passenger car? Could I encourage you to call the Hammer? Just look on any billboard in any major city. You'll find the Hammer in somewhere. Toga says you did your best. That's for sure. I wonder. I mean, I think I did. You get that thing where you're like looking back, man, I wish I'd have said this. Man, I should have said that. Man, I didn't understand that when they asked, but now I understand. I could have gave a better answer. Yeah, it is what it is. I didn't say anything I don't believe, and told the truth, just like I was asked to do. So it is what it is. It's great that you did what you did, but it's even better that you're sharing it with us in a way that even a bunch of simple truck drivers can understand for our benefit. Well done. Well, thank you, Will Burner. Thank you. Two biggest things for you guys to take away: don't be messing around holding loads hostage, and get your names on the bill of lading, and get yourself a tariff sheet. Hopefully, I mean, think about it. Are you ever really likely to use that tariff sheet? No. But if you ever need it, it's there. And for what it's going to take you to get one, you should have one. So let's get y'all one. Let's get y'all one. And we'll get to it. Steve Wildman says, so being first to file on the bond is key, is what I learned. If you think, like, obviously be legit with it. I mean, if somebody's a day late on an invoice, don't go filing on their bond. It's not practical. If you think that things have changed since you invoiced them, like you learned that maybe other people haven't getting paid, if you have an inkling, just file on it. Be legit about it, though. Don't be, like I said, leave a few days for things to be processed, right? And then if call them, communicate. I have a friend that somebody filed on his bond, and it was an oversight. Like there was something missing from their invoice, and blah, whatever. It was a simple, honest mistake, and the people filed on his bond, and he called the dude. He's like, dude, you didn't even call me. Like I cut you. I looked into this. Give me this document. We'll pay you. We'll cut you a comp check today, but you didn't even call me. So just make an effort. And if you feel like something's not right, yeah, file. You definitely want to be, one of the first ones. Um, but at least try. And then depending what the bond company says. Don't let things rest. You got to be your own best advocate. And if you have to get a professional involved, get a professional involved. It's hard to fight some of these things sometimes. But there's a lot you can do too, yourself. Oh my gosh, what the heck is this? Who's that? Andy Cron? Cran? Man, thank you for the cash app, man. That's awfully nice of you. I appreciate it. So, what do I do from here? I'm kind of in this now. I don't really want I don't really want to go back and testify again. But I'm in it now. If I have to, I have to. But it's kind of like it's not my job, it's not my place to go out and take on causes, but some things, need to be. If you think something isn't right, take it on. Take it on. Just make sure you're standing on the right foot. You don't want to be going and filing false claims against somebody. That's not cool. You don't want that done against you. Paul Harris says, I'm up against the hammer, and it was a PAX car. She fell asleep while driving. Ooh. Oh, you're up against the hammer. Ooh. Have you seen the billboard for the sledgehammer or the jackhammer? You're going to want to one-up hammer that person. Yeah, come on. Shannon says, yes, great work. I appreciate you and what you've accomplished. It's a huge deal, one step at a time. Well, thank you. Thank you for your support. It's, I asked for support. Like, it sounds cheesy for like courage and strength. Um, I'm not that guy to go and do something like this and take this on. So it did take a little extra encouragement in that matter. And I do appreciate it. And it wasn't just for me, it's just for the situation, like encouragement for the situation to get better. Hey, it would be great if they come out of this bankruptcy and everybody gets paid. Wouldn't that be freaking wonderful? I hope that happens. Will it? Hmm. You know, I have my opinions. You have yours. The court will have theirs, and Surge will have theirs. We'll see. Sonny says, where can we report double brokering? Sorry if this question is out of context. No, it's not out of context. That's I was how do I say this? I ran into somebody the other day. This was not part of this. Okay, this was a part of something else. It wasn't even a part of anything. It's just I was talking to this guy that happened to be an attorney, and he happens to be in transportation. And we're talking about the scamming and all that stuff going on. And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Our company is just getting slaughtered by it." I'm like, I'm seeing it a couple times a week. I come across something fishy that somebody's trying to do, and I got to see if it's legit or not. But he's like, yeah, this is a real problem. And he says, I'll be perfectly honest with you. He's like, unless the government steps in and vets these people and stuff, there's not a lot that's going to change this. So it's kind of falls to us to take care of ourselves for the time being. It does. Mike Nine Toes, what I learned this year is it does not matter what order you are on bond filings. Right, but if you're the only one, if nobody else is filed, I mean, it does. If the bond got exhausted at the 99th filer and you happen to be number 100 and there's no bond left, that matters. It's bond companies. So a friend of mine that's a broker, he's a carrier too, but he's way more does more brokering like than I do. Says that his bond company told him that these newer, smaller scammer type bond company or brokerages are using their bond company as a line of credit to pay freight bills. They just let all the freight bills go to the bond company and then they pay them. And the bond companies are just axing them, just canceling them. So I've seen at least 3 loads and got one this week, double brokered is why I ask. Man, that's didn't we have somebody on that was talking about how to spot that, or was that somebody else's show that I was watching? And it's sad. I don't even remember. The topic is that you made it through the Atlanta airport. The preparations for the court of Wall Street, Atlanta. Man, that Atlanta airport. Ooh, I had never seen nothing like it. Never seen nothing like it. That place is jam packed. Every flight, I was on 4 flights the whole time, and every one of them was 100% checked in. Every seat was full on every plane. That Atlanta airport is crazy, man. They don't. An hour between flights is not enough time. By the time that you get your ass off the airplane, people take forever to get off the airplane, and you make it out of your plane, find where your gate is, find the sign, and go this way or that way, and then get on the tram. You got to take tram, or you don't have a chance of making it. Get on the tram, take it to the next place, and find your gate. It takes that long. That place is insane. And I've been to the Denver airport. Denver airport is big, but not as busy as this dang Atlanta airport, man. Crazy. Um, Bankruptcy proceedings don't change the industry. Now a lawsuit against DAT for false advertising would change a lot. Yeah, that's bigger than that's bigger than me. I mean, I've definitely said my piece on it. Um, that's bigger than me. There's an open period for all to file. They tally up all claims, and if the claims are greater than the bond, they pay equal percentage to all who file against the bond. Right, but the time period, like, there's I don't know how to explain it. The claims could be filed over the course of a year, over, like, a bunch of claims could come in 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? It's it does. I've filed on a bond, and it was exhausted by the time I filed on it. So in that respect, timing does matter. I'm not trying to argue, but there's certain circumstances where you're just too late. The bond is gone. So, and it might have got canceled while your filing was, waiting to be processed, right? So, and most times you're gonna you're only gonna get a percentage. So I would prefer to just go another avenue, honestly. Um, oh, Rock and Robin Trucking, thanks for a super chat. Just stopped for 30. Been listening. Thanks for being involved. You're a good guy. I don't know about all that. I appreciate the sentiment though. Invite Cash. He can give you non-legal advice. Ooh, um, yeah. I think he's a proprietor of a trucker's legal service over there. Every answer is drive it in the river. Can't make your payment? Drive it in the river. Broker didn't pay you on a load? Drive it in the river. Oh, and the bond thing, we got 1692 on a $3,200 filing. First to file on the bond. Woohoo, man. But if you were number 101, that number might have been zero, right? Is what I'm saying. But other than that, yeah, I tend to agree. Until the money's gone. That's why I didn't file when I filed my paperwork for the surge thing. I didn't request for them to file against the bond. Hell, I could have done that. I requested go, third party, or just say, hey, would this be a better strategy? And that's kind of what we agreed to do. Being held hostage by factoring through UCC filing. Yes, any factoring company, when you sign up to use their service, or at least the ones I'm aware of, are going to put a UCC filing on you, and then they're senior secured creditor against you. So theoretically, they're going to get paid before anybody else. Calvin Leak says, I'll be going back. Okay. Wish we went another way too. Didn't see your video with the collection agency. There was a lot of criticism of that, and I understand, because until you go through something like this, it can seem like a lot of commission. But you got to understand that the highest level of commission is because it's in bankruptcy. You know how hard it's going to be. I don't know. I take that back. Not hard it's going to be. How much more complex the process is. I mean, look at what just happened. They had to hire, very expensive attorneys. I would assume very expensive. Nobody works for free to pursue things like this. I mean, I could not have done that on my own. I just couldn't have. So that's what happens? There are, lower levels of charges for when different scenarios. So we had talked about that. I was questioned about that, and apparently they didn't like my answer on that. So I kind of got a weird reaction. So, and I don't know why. So I'm not even going to talk about it. Would have been better, I think, than 1692. Yeah, 1692 on a $3,200 bill is a little hard to swallow, isn't it? What else did I miss here? I don't know. I think that's about it. My voice has been kind of shot from the travel and the long hours and stuff. So I think I'll wrap it up. But thanks. Just again, I want to thank everybody for your support. Thank you everybody for the super chats and the cash apps. That's very kind of you. And we'll see you again soon. Like I said, we'll talk about the tariffs. That goes back to a part of the thing I learned about this whole situation too is if you don't if you're not a professional, if you're not 100%, if you're not the authority on something, don't be the one to try to teach others about it at a high level. You could touch on it, say, like I can sit here and tell you, you should have a tariff sheet. Okay. I'm not and I can tell you that the reasons why I believe why I'm not the one that knows the intimate details of it. That's for somebody else to teach you. So we'll try to do that. Um, well, thank you, Timothy Dalton. Appreciate it. Um, Everybody, if you would please hit the thumbs up on your way out, and we will remember to credit check people. Credit check people all you can. I'm trying to figure some additional resources out for doing credit checks, and still looking into that because I'm seeing the increased need to do more credit checks. I mean, my thought is this is merely my thought. Like, how long did it take DAT and Ansonia, whatever service they use, to drop that credit score down to a 35? It took, what was it? It was over a month, right? That should have been faster. So if we can't trust that, we got to have some better resources. And then your factoring companies, what services do they use for credit rating, and then are they behind? So trying to do some more research on that because things are getting stupid. Uh, Thanks everybody again. We'll see you next time, and have a great night.